As we keep getting bombarded with headlines in the mainstream media of UFO sightings and shoot-downs, I thought it would be a good idea to go back to basics with the simple question of, what are they? What are UFOs? Now, obviously this is a million-dollar question and we can only speculate to a point. In this video, we will read through a declassified CIA document that poses the exact question. This is a paper that I found in the CIA's archives, and the title is UFOs, What Are They? And as we can see here, it was declassified on June 24th of 2013. The document itself dates back to February of 1967 and is of Soviet origin from what we read here. As usual, I've picked out some of the more interesting bits and I'll read through them here. Okay. First of all, does the problem actually exist? Are there really indisputable facts pointing to the existence and reality of UFOs? More than 2 decades ago, in May of 1946, evidence first appeared concerning strange disc-shaped objects called saucers, which were seen both from planes and from the surface of the Earth. Observers noted that many UFOs displayed enormous speeds and accelerations unbearable by terrestrial organisms. To the category of UFOs were assigned also puzzling fires in the night sky and mysterious illuminated spheres of various colors. Observers also reported flying saucers which changed intensity in color. It was noted also that in some cases, the UFOs caused local magnetic fluctuations. In their presence, the needle of a compass fluctuated widely. So I went and did a bit of research to see what was going on in May of 1946, and interestingly, there were quite a few sightings during that month. There were sightings in Lafayette, New York, in LaGrange, Florida, New Jersey, Portugal, Denmark, multiple sightings in Sweden, and probably in many other places. Curious are the observations of Menzel himself, who twice was able to see this puzzling phenomenon. Now, the paper here is referring to Donald Menzel, the astronomer and astrophysicist who was also alleged to be a member of MJ-12. On the first occasion during a trip by auto, Menzel noted over Sacramento Peak 2 strange hazy saucers with faint pale blue illumination. The saucers rapidly disappeared and reappeared. Unfortunately, I was forced to acknowledge, writes Donald Menzel, that I could not exactly explain this phenomenon. The second time, Menzel and several astronomers at the Sacramento Peak Observatory, how suddenly in the sky there appeared a clear yellow fiery sphere. It was at an altitude of about 100 to 130 kilometers. I think it says identify, but it's actually identity. Its identity has remained unknown. Several times, American pilots attempted to attack UFOs, but these invariably put on tremendous speed and, maneuvering strenuously, escaped pursuit. In some cases, the pursuit ended with the crash of the pursuing plane, as happened with Captain T. Mantle on 7th of January 1948. Before the crash, Mantle hastily reported by radio, "I am coming up to it. This thing is metallic in appearance and of enormous dimensions." So it's important to keep this in mind when we get mainstream headlines of US military shooting down 3 UFOs consecutively, which is absolutely laughable when we consider the capabilities we read about in genuine UFO encounters with pilots. Shooting 3 UFOs down in a row is pretty much an impossibility in my mind right now. Not saying that none have ever been shot down, but what we've seen in the last week and a half it's quite far-fetched. For 2 decades, UFOs have been observed not only visually, but also on radar screens. In 1965, according to the United Press report, radar sets in Oklahoma recorded on the evening of the 1st of August 4 unidentified objects flying at great height. They passed over into the atmosphere over the states of Kansas and Colorado. In Moscow in June 1965, an international colloquium was held on the microstructure of the atmosphere, at which there was discussion of the nature of angel echo, strange objects seen on radar screens. These are regularly observed by Soviet scientists working at the Central Aerological Observatory near Moscow. According to the report of A. Gorelick, UFOs have been recorded on radar screens not only in the USSR, but also at stations in the US, Australia, India, and Japan. It has been established that the mysterious flying objects cannot be insects, plant seeds, flights of birds, which sometimes show up on radar. They frequently moved against the wind and were observed in places where there are no birds or insects. The nature of these objects remains unknown to this day. So, let us proceed to several explanations for UFOs. First explanation. All reports about flying saucers and other UFOs are complete nonsense, fabrications and concoctions of careless individuals. This point of view is a very convenient one because it requires no intellectual effort and nips the problem in the bud. However, there is some truth in it notwithstanding. Second explanation. UFOs exist, but are actually they are not what they seem. A UFO is only an optical illusion connected with anomalous diffusion of light in the Earth's atmosphere, like a rainbow or halo caused by the sun or patches of light over water. This point of view, sincerely put forward by Donald Menzel in his book on flying saucers, has been widely accepted among scientists in the Soviet Union and abroad. But we must point out that the reading of Menzel's book involuntarily results in a feeling of deep disappointment, since the author provides no convincing and scientific discussion of the phenomena. Therefore, when Menzel's book is represented as a solid scientific work, as a circumstantial optical theory of explanation of UFOs, the opinion must be rejected as erroneous. The mystery of UFOs cannot be explained by means of atmospheric optics. The nature of these phenomena is clearly more complex than that. Third explanation. UFOs are new secret flying craft of one of the terrestrial powers. At first, this point of view was very commonly held, and militaristic circles in the United States hastened to spread rumors of the effect that secret Soviet craft were flying over the country. This absurd explanation, based on natural causes, later collapsed and no longer has any advocates. Fourth explanation. The UFO is an unknown natural phenomenon. The material world which surrounds us is endlessly diverse and complex. There is no doubt but what the non-understood phenomena of nature are immeasurably more numerous than those which have been studied and understood. Perhaps UFOs represent something new and unprecedented, just as, let us say, radioactivity was to us at the end of the last century. Fifth explanation. Bordering on the fantastic. UFOs are flying craft from other planets which are surveying the Earth. Obviously, the hypothesis of a foreign planet artificial origin of UFOs is an extreme point of view and at first glance completely improbable. Therefore, we have placed it last, as a sort of antipodes to the first explanation, unsubstantiated denial. However, since the problem of UFOs has still not been solved, various, including fantastic, points of view are possible. The conclusion is clear. There exists almost everywhere a definite type of phenomenon, known under the name of the UFO phenomenon. The nature of this phenomenon has still not been unraveled, and not one of the existing hypotheses can pretend to be the final answer to the problem. In such a situation, the only correct course is clear: to subject the mysterious UFO phenomenon to thorough and careful scientific study. And that wraps it up for this video. If you enjoyed this presentation, please feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.